Good afternoon, crap to cream. Just afternoon. So I'm now giving you some progress on the 18V engine rebuild, and then the second part of this video hopefully will be tomorrow when I take my other car over, when I take Rose over to get the dyno done and set the engine up correctly. So this is just a bit of a progress where I'm up to right now. So as you may see, I've installed some little bits and pieces. So engine mountings on. I've also put the plug in here. That's 3/8 BSP. This is also now this has also had a new spring and a new plunger put in it, so that's that done. The oil pump is now on and filled full of grease, so that it aids drawing the oil in when I do the first start. Dipstick is in, minor, but anyway. So one cork strip is in, ready to put the sump back on. This one is just in place. I will fit that one specifically when I come to actually put the sump on, because I have to glue that one in place so that it doesn't fall out. So if you just hang on a sec, I will now turn the engine on the stand and show you the progress to date on where I'm up to with other stuff. Okay, so what I've done now is I've done the tappets, rule of 9, as I was explaining on another video. So that's all done now. They're all set at 12 thou. I think I mentioned that on a previous video. The heater tap's been installed. Obviously the dipstick. I've put the filter conversion kit on so that I can do a screw-on filter. I've rejuvenated one of my old distributors with points in it so that I can just do a bit of a start. I've got a bit silly with the chrome paint, and I've been painting bits and pieces. Front timing cover's on, the water pump is on, and I've left this at number 1. And now, because I've put the oil pump on, I won't turn the engine now until I've got oil in the sump, so that I don't negate the reason for putting the grease in there in the first place. So this chest cover here is on, just loosely in place. I put a bit of sealant behind this, then I take it off, and then I put some sealant on the front. So the sealant on the back on the cover holds it in place, because typically when you tighten this one up and it's cork or the rubber one, it just spreads out and then you get leaks. So that I glue that one on first. This one I haven't bothered with yet because the seal goes into the cover. I think that's all that I've done on this right now. Spark plugs are in, obviously, and then the leads are all 1342. Goes around in an anti-clockwise direction. Yep, that engine mounts in. So what I'm contemplating doing now is building a test stand for the engine, because I'm not likely to put this engine in any of my MGs, and I don't. If I did ever sell this engine, I wouldn't want to sell it without having run it first. So my next project after this is to build a bit of an engine test stand. I've got some spare radiators. I've got so I've got a small starter motor, because if you put the original big starter motor in here, then the oil filter doesn't fit here. So it has to be a high torque starter motor or something like that. It does, but the standard one's too big and it won't fit, so that's why I've done that. And I think that's about it really. I'll give you a bit of an update when I do some more work, and hopefully the rest of this video will be out the dyno, and we'll see how we go. Weather's looking good, so I can go over there without getting wet, because I've got no roof, and we'll go from there. So yeah, thanks very much indeed for the comments and the subscriptions, and I hope I'm giving people the right answers. I've been asked some questions about justifying, or is it worth fitting a supercharger? My opinion, yes, but as I've said before, I would say that it's important to get the kit and not try and get bits from other places. I'm not downplaying it. If you want to do that, or that's how the circumstances fit with what you want to do, then fine, go for your life. But I've found that I get better support from VMax if I have with fitting their parts and all of their parts, because it becomes very hard to diagnose any performance issues if the parts didn't come in the kit, and I understand that. So I had a Weber, and Stuart has been very forthcoming in assisting me with sorting that out. But in the end, as recommended by him in the first place, I've got to take it to a rolling road / dyno to get it fixed up properly. So we'll go with that, and yeah, however you want to do this, just think about how you're going to do it first. So all right, I'll sign off for now, and then I'll be in touch tomorrow. So good morning, here we are at T&R Green, and yeah, MG is just about to go onto the dyno. So yeah, we'll see what happens from here. I'll carry on filming shortly. So I'm just going to try and grab shots as I can, but here we are ready to go now, all set up. All tied down securely so it can't run away. So, yeah, so a bit exciting this. I don't know how much. Here's the thingy-majooty that tells you what it's doing and how well it's going. And cooling fan to keep everything cool. So yeah, we'll see how we go. If you can hear me, this is the first run. Here we go with the second run, and we'll see what we can do now. Now finished the tuning as good as it gets, and I found out now what the problems are. So I need to look at the distributor, because the timing is wrong for the boost, and I also need to sort some other stuff out as well. So this is, yeah, so this is the setup. So yeah, this is the dyno. This is what it looks like, and then that's the instrumentation over there. And yeah, so, and Tristan has been really good, great, been very successful with his race cars as well. So I think we'll leave it at that. So yeah, coming to the rolling road has definitely been a really good decision, because now I have a direction forward on which way to go. Because I was struggling before, because I just didn't know what to do, what was right, what was wrong. So now I've got a bit of a direction, and the intercooling part of the supercharger seems to be quite critical, so I'll have to investigate further that. Anyway, thank you for subscribing, thank you for interest, and thank you for your comments. And if you've got any questions about this little dyno exercise, then please put it in the comments below. And like and subscribe, and that'll be great. Thank you very much indeed. Bye for now. Okay, so this is in conclusion. I've now driven home. The car drives better than it did before. It's still a bit, I think what Tristan called it, doughy is a good expression. And I learned some valuable lessons right here. And one is a dyno is an answer. And also, when you buy these kits, right, you need to buy, you need to really look at seriously buying the whole kit rather than buying like not all of it. So Tristan has talked to me about our charge cooler, which is part of this kit, but I chose not to put that on. And also there's the distributor, which is, you can get a distributor from VMax. And I'm going to talk to Stuart later about whether that's actually programmed for the boost, which I'm going to assume that it is, whereas the one that I've got in the car right now isn't. So we'll have to see where we go with that. But yeah, it wasn't as good as I was expecting from my perspective, right? Because I was, I was expecting Tristan to wave a magic wand over the car and like, there we go, fixed. But it's not as simple as that. And there's a lot of information out there which isn't quite right. So the ignition timing for me is now like the issue. And then when I get the ignition timing sorted out and the right distributor with the right level of advance and whatever, then I'm okay. I should be okay. The carburetor righties are fixed now because the jets are all fixed and the mixture has been set. So it drives better. There's no two ways about it. And Tristan at TRG Super Dyno Center knows his stuff, right? He knows how to fix this stuff. And if you haven't got the bits to fix it, then if you haven't got the bits installed, he can't fix it. So I'll just show you the final dyno sheet that I got, which is this. So I'll hold it there for a second or two so you can have a look. So he was expecting to see more horsepower, obviously, and maybe I think I was as well. So the supercharger takes horsepower to work it, but it also creates horsepower by the fact that it's compressing the gas going into the engine. So you have to, get the mixture right, and you have to get the spark at the right time when the mixture goes into the cylinder. Otherwise, the two just don't work together. I don't want to waffle on too much, but I learned a lot this morning, and it was worth every cent that I paid to go and get through that exercise. And at the end of it, the car does drive better. And thank you very much indeed, Tristan, if you do watch this video. And I also will catch up with Stuart, and I'm very grateful to Stuart because what he said at the very beginning is very true. And yeah, you have to learn by these things. So I will now take on board what has been told to me, and I will make things better. And you will see that journey through to from good to great. So we're not right crap to cream here, it's good to great. The car is good right now, and I'm happy with the way it runs, and it drives fine. It's just a bit wallowy and a bit dead in the water when you put your foot into it quite hard. All right, so I'll stop waffling and say that thank you for subscribing and subscriptions, as I said before. And yeah, just like and whatever you're down below. Thank you very much indeed. And yeah, I'll bye for now.